Good morning, it's October 13th, 2016. It's another absolutely beautiful day on planet Earth. If you don't believe me, just take a look around. So, today, real quick, I want to talk about how to get unstuck. So, I know from personal experience that there have been many times in my life where I feel as though I'm trapped in quicksand. I can't take the necessary action to move forward because I feel as if the world is conspiring against me. So then what inevitably happens is there becomes a stage where your state changes and all of a sudden you're no longer stuck. And what I've kind of done has I've been thinking about this a lot lately, trying to figure out what happens all of the sudden, so it seems, that makes you unstuck all of a sudden, right? What is the catalyst for dragging me out of that situation, right? So someone else might be able to relate to this as well. And I feel like no matter who it is, whether it's me, whether it's you, whether it's your neighbor, whether it's, Joe Blow down the road, there's two principles, regardless of the individual, that are the driving force in getting someone unstuck. And I've kind of narrowed it down to these two things through a process of a lot of intellection and also through reading and reading my own journaling and reading the books of other individuals. And what this boils down to is two things. One is thought and one is language. So every individual has a different unique set of words that they use, language that they use, and thoughts that they think on a daily basis, right? So in terms of, how should I word this? In terms of your thoughts are created in your head from a formless substance, and they're transmuted into the physical words, the sounds that you speak, which attract a certain vibration, which then brings a specific reality into form in your life. So, for a while I went through my life not really understanding the power and the potential of my thoughts. And it wasn't until I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which was, I think, right after 8th grade I read that book. And it really started to open my mind up to the possibility of thoughts having an actual power in the world, right? And the power that your language can evoke because of your thoughts. So I started to read Napoleon Hill, and I immediately fell in love with the messages that he was writing into his books. And now Napoleon Hill is a pioneer in the New Thought movement, which started around the 1920s, 1930s, and has kind of continued into today. It's similar to the law of attraction in terms of, being able to manifest abundance, right? Or whatever you're trying to manifest. And to just kind of tie this into right now, a book that I picked up the other day is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. And for some reason, even though it's essentially the same message as Napoleon Hill's book, this one resonates with me in a really profound way. So real quick, I'm going to set my journal down, and I just want to read something out of it because I haven't quite got it down to memory, but I'm going to actually try real quick, see if I can do it from memory. So, there is a thinking stuff from which all things are created, and which, in its original substance, penetrates, permeates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought, in this form, produces that which was imaged by the thought. And this is the part that I can't remember, so let's open this up. I think it's like, a man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. So understand that, right? In fact, rewind the video and listen to what I just said. And then what you'll find is, if you're in an area in your life where you feel stuck, it's important to look at the language that you're using and the thoughts that you're thinking because of exactly that paragraph that I just read, right? Your thoughts are going to attract and create the reality in which they are imagining. Understand? So if you look around at your friend group and the thoughts that they're thinking, you might start to see correlations, right? Synchronicities between the life that you're living, the thoughts that you're thinking, and the people that you're around. It's all related. And once you understand that, it becomes really important to almost become the watchdog of your mind, right? The watchdog of your thoughts, the watchdog of your influence, which is what I'm always talking about. And this is why. It's because the things that you think create the reality in which you live, right? So, one more important thing to just kind of put out there is you cannot become what you are not, right? So you cannot become wealthy if you're acting and thinking from a place of scarcity and poverty, right? They're in conflict. And on the contrary, you cannot become poor, you cannot become, in contradiction to abundance if those are the thoughts that you're having. So these forces are always going to be working kind of in contradiction to each other. It won't happen. They have to be in sync. So the universe is going to conspire against you, or with you, as a matter of fact, to match reality to your internal dialogue. So it becomes very important once you understand that truth. And you can understand that truth by looking at your life right now. Literally right now. Look at every situation, every scenario in your life, and understand that the reason it is how it is because you've created it in that way, right? So I said yesterday, you're the architect of your future. I'm not kidding you. You're the architect, except instead of, drawing out the blueprints of a house, instead, you're thinking the thoughts that create the blueprint to your life, to your reality, to your dreams, to your hopes, to your desires, to everything. It all starts in your thoughts. And your thoughts are directly transmuted into the language that you use. So, it's almost comical how true this actually is. And that's what I've been realizing lately, is that this is a truth, right? So, like I said, there's always been two areas in my life that I look when I feel stuck, my language and my thoughts. And the beauty of thoughts and language is you can change the thoughts that you think and the language that you use with literally the flip of a switch. Once you can identify the language and the thought pattern that you're using, you can change it. But until you understand that you might be operating in a destructive way to yourself through the thoughts and language that you use, you're never going to be able to change it. So I would highly suggest reading The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, anything by Abraham Hicks, right? Any of these thought pioneers that understood this truth in the 1930s. Because it's a truth today, right? In fact, this has been a truth since the entirety of time. If you read the Bible, you'll understand that this is the same thing that Jesus was talking about, right? Same thing Jesus was talking about, same thing Napoleon Hill was talking about, is God is in your mind. God is your mind. You are the creative force of this universe, and God lives through you. Understand? So to realize your full potential, you got to understand that it's all going to start in your mind. Your mind's going to create the reality that you live. Once you understand that, you truly can become the architect of your future, the architect of your potential, and you can get unstuck. And what's going to happen is the frequency of becoming stuck is going to just dive bomb. It's not going to happen anymore because you're the guardian of your fate, right? You're not letting in those negative thoughts, those negative influences, those destructive patterns that are going to manifest things that are not constructive to you. It's not going to happen anymore, right? So that's my message for you today, for me today, right? Like I said, I make these videos because I love to listen to them later, right? It hasn't replaced journaling for me, but it acts in a similar way that journaling does, right? So I highly encourage anyone that watches this just to kind of begin to observe the thoughts that they think, the tapes that they play in their mind, and understand that those are not hardwired in, right? The thoughts that you think create the reality that you live. So it's another beautiful day. I'm gonna go hit it. I gotta bring my sister's dog to go get his nails clipped. So that's where I'm headed next. Keep thinking those those dreams, those hopes, create it into a reality, right? You're the architect of your future. Have an awesome day. Across the sidewalk. Have an awesome day.